Hello, welcome home racing fans. Well, this likely isn't the slotted that everyone else is talking about. It might just be that the Jaguar is not just the ugly duckling of Group C, but perhaps the entire line. I don't know, but it doesn't really appeal to a lot out there, performance or looks wise, but I guess that's why I like it so much. It reminds me of, of yours truly right here. It's just not for everybody. But I like these cars, the unique look of them, and especially the history of the cars, which I was ignorant of for many years. I had no idea about this series. Growing up, I didn't get a chance to watch any of this, but thanks to this hobby, you just click and you learn. And I tell you, these cars, whether you like the looks of them or not, mostly you were seeing the rear end of it sometimes because they flat got after it. Anyway, like I said, it's not the most popular model, but I don't care. For me, I like them. It's here, and we're going to take a closer look. Due to the length, and it is fragile, that's why the wing isn't mounted to the car. As you can see, it was in the blister pack there for protection, and it can be fragile, but you know, since around 2006 on the XJR10 review, they've had this this spare wing. Some folks call it the racing wing. If you have to have one a little stronger than this mount system, but if you want it in a scale, you're going to have to remove the body, then install it, put it back in there. I wouldn't glue it if I were you. I would just use friction, but that's just me. One change here is the CH85D Revision 2 guide. I had no problems with the old guide, but you know, Slotted's not going to just sit around and just leave things be. They're constantly trying to improve their product, so hats off to them for that. Now, the set screws are right here in the front of the bulkhead, and you can loosen them up and remove the wire using your trusty M2 wrench, and you can add a ferrule to your wire and put it back in there. I know a lot of folks like to do that. They don't like to solder the set screw method, but you put the ferrule on there, crimp it in there, or not crimp it, put it in there and secure it. You can also see here these little valleys, notches here on the side of the bulkhead. You can actually have with the wire laying down the other way if you so desire. As far as dimensions go, well, they have to keep it compatible with a lot of different track systems, so nothing new there. 6.5 millimeter deep, 21 in length, and right around 1.3 on the blade width, and that's fine by me. As a wood track owner, I can always just change it out to something deeper and wider, etc., if I see fit. But anyway, kudos to Slotted for making a change that I think's for the better. We've shown this before, but just a reminder, if you want to do the front set screw on the bulkhead of the Slot Invasion guides, Slotting Plus works the same way. I just use a 1.5 drill bit here in my pin vise, and just a little hole right there, just halfway through. You're good to go. Now you can get your braid installed, your wire, put your set screw in the front. Don't be like me and forget that if you're going to use a quick disconnect, make sure you route your wires, if this is where you want them to go, back in the original positions. So route the wires underneath there first, then you can hook to the guide. And there we have it, all installed. I like to use a guide shim, at least one. It's a 10,000 shim from Slot Car Corner. I just use it as a thrust action. It's just me, you don't have to. And I've already measured and trimmed the post, so we can get this in here and we are good to go. You want to make sure there's none of the posts sticking out of the top when you mount the screw. You want that screw to get right here on top of the chassis, and don't over tighten so you have good freedom of movement. But I really like the way the guide fits, nice and smooth. So let's get that secured, get our front axle back in place. Time for some laps. Rest of the mechanicals, no surprises here. Inline pod assembly, 9 to 28 gears, 23K motor. At bench tested anywhere between 22.5, 23.2, plus or minus 10%, basically the industry standard. Quick disconnect wires. You can see here in the chassis some recesses in the hole for you digital folks. You know your way around that. Your front axle, you can adjust the ride height, of course, and we've already talked about the guide. So next up, you got it. We're going to talk tires on this old veteran. There's no shortage of them. Let's get to it. Alright, well, like I said, this wheel's been around since wives have been right. There's just so many tires out there. The selection is pretty staggering, actually. But hey, it's been around for a while. It deserves it, right? So we have selection. Quick Slicks, as far as silicone goes, that's my choice. And you can go with several different sizes, depending on the diameter you want. 34, I like the extra firm. You can go down to 33 or even down to 32. Like I said, you just check the chart when you're shopping for your Quick Slicks and it'll tell you the diameter. As far as urethane goes, good old Paul Gage, there is no other urethane for me. 2011-5, that's my preferred size. Fits the wheel really well and you have enough room for some truing, and you're going to want to do that. Then there's all sorts of different rubber out there. There's NSR, of course. There's Sideways. I'm going to install some of these on one car, and even the slotted. I like the slotted rubber in the F22. All the compounds, it just depends. You have to track test. You know, some folks, they like the NSR Super Grips. Some say the G25 or the F22 compounds from slotted. They might ball up a little bit here and there. It just depends on your track surface. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stick with slotted and some Sideways just to see what happens. And they fit really well. We'll give them a quick cleanup. I'm not going to true them very much. I'll let the track do that. But that's just my choice. Anyhow, as always, you test and you tune and you find that sweet spot, that correct tire for your track. If you'd like to keep tuning, you're going to pay attention to the front as well. I don't have much of an issue with the front tires. I just sand them down. Sometimes I don't even coat them. You don't really need to glue them, the tires on the wheel, but you can. But I guess we'll talk about the wheels. These are really good wheels. Really not had a lot of issues with them. They don't really need a lot of work. They're pretty round right out of the box. Usually all you have to do is just get rid of some of this flash molding. Make sure that the tire can seat the wheel smoothly, and then you can take the tire and true the tire. So you don't want to remove too much material from this wheel, because then you're going to start affecting the fitment of the tire on the wheel. You don't want it too small a diameter. So all you really have to do is just clean this up a little bit. So let's do that. Here's a little modification. It's not for everyone. I just want to make that clear. Not everybody agrees, but it works for me. You just have to be careful doing it. Sometimes when you twist and pull these wheels off, if you do it too many times, it can get loose. And yeah, you can glue the wheel back on there, but just making sure you have a full assembly in and out of a tire machine. It's nice to be able to have them tight, and if they're a little bit loose and they're slipping, this is just something you can try. But again, it's not a mod for everyone. You have to be careful. So here's our 1.5 drill bit in our pin vise again. We showed this before, using it for the guide to put the set screws in front of the guide bulkhead there. But same thing here. You can just very carefully line this up, a little bit of pressure, okay, and get it started. Right now you got a little start point. Now you can twist the wheel off just like that, and you find your start point. There it is, and just making sure you're right there where you needed to be. And remember, it's plastic, right? So there we go. Get that back in focus. You don't have to go too hard and too far, and we're just about there. Should have some music playing for stuff like this. I gotta get with the program. These other guys, man, they're like Spielberg with their videos. I'm like a 2010 guy. Anyway, there you go. You can see it just went halfway through, right? Yep, we're good. Clean this off. Make sure, get rid of that flash molding in there. Yeah, good to go. Now, yep, you guessed it. Little M2 screw right there, and it'll feed right in. Be careful. Now you see? You can see that white part right there. It hasn't split yet. It does flex. You just have to be careful. There we go. Works. We do this on some Thunderslot cars we've shown. So there we go. We haven't gone too far. Now we can slip the wheel on there just like that. And you can tell, bringing it down, you can just tell by feel. And right there. You don't want to over tighten it, you'll split it. And that's it. And now, this is on here pretty tight. So when it comes to popping in a Natura and cleaning up the face of this, and then putting the tire on, and then doing some tire sanding to get it true, this does the trick. You don't have to do this, and again, you have to be very careful with your placement of the drill bit, and do not over tighten. If you over tighten it, you're going to split it, and then it's time for the glue bomb. So just a word of warning, again, it's not a mod for everyone, but I thought I'd share it anyhow. In this case, when I have a flat plate like this, sanding plate for the CG slot cars machine, you can't do both wheels at once, given the fact that the pulley along with the belt is larger diameter than the wheels, which is usually the case. I know there's some smaller pulleys out there, but for me, this is all I do, is just one wheel at a time. I'm not in that big a hurry. And again, I'm only running at maybe 5.5 volts, not a whole lot. And like I said, you don't want to take too much material away. You're just cleaning the face of that up. Don't want to reduce the diameter of the wheel a lot. You're just cleaning up that face, giving it that good clean concentric base for the tire to fit on. And then we'll finish up the tuning process with the tire. As you can see right there, just a little material, just the flash molding, a little bit of silver paint coming off, and that's just about good to go. Let's get the tire on. This is just showing you with both wheels how much I've removed. You can still see some of the paint's gone in one area, paint is still here in another. Like I said, just cleaning it up. That does more than you think it does to give it a good base for the tires. So you can glue the tires on here. You don't need to. You can use a little bit of liquid hairspray on a brush. You can use some mop and glow. You can use some nail polish, whatever your favorite adhesive is. You won't need a whole lot. Tires should still be a nice tight fit, ready to sand. Alright, here we are, old and new. Basically very evenly matched, 22.870, 23.4. I got the NSR Super Grips here, and I have the 1207 F22s over here. Everything else is the same except the Slot Invasion guide, but very comparable, really fun, really smooth, and we'll get after it.
Yeah.
Smooth as always. Oh, all right. There you go. Keep going. Go. Oh. Just a little bit. Some cars.
Yeah.
Oh, good. These cars never get old, really. They're just little slotted deep seeds, always delivered. Good value.
Well, I've always liked the Castrol
Oh yeah.
stuff anyway.
Yeah, that's good. Alright. I'm not unhappy. I'm glad I picked it up. I needed the running mate anyway, so.
Yeah.
It might be the ugly duckling is a deep sea that I like them. Oh, good one. Getting them around here. Oh.
That was me.
Yeah, clean tires and helps the traction a little bit. Get them running a little bit. Get them up to temp. Oh yeah. Oh, all right. There you go.
Got it.
You got it. Just gonna get better. I'd say it makes a good afternoon.
Yep.
Beats the day at work. The tires are coming in. Both compounds are good. Just testing different, you know.
So they got different tires on each.
Yeah, one's got the NSRs and the, I believe it, yeah, I got the super grips there, and then I've got the F22 compound, the slotted on the other. Really equal out here. My track isn't that big, you know, so you can tell some of the differences. And we're going to check tire wear and stuff like that. But anyway, pretty fun times, pretty great car.
Yeah.
Well worth it to me. The whole series. Alright, good stuff, guys. As always, we'll holler at you online. Hope all have a good one.